What's going on, guys? David Falla here. Welcome to another tutorial. Today we are going to be doing a mid-skin fade. The top we're gonna cut like at least like half of this, and then we're gonna style the hair to the side. The back, he has a big cowlick on the back, so we're gonna maintain some length there so it doesn't spike up, and that's it. So let's start with the video. Welcome back to my channel. Super happy to be here. I miss YouTube. For everybody that don't know why I haven't been in YouTube, I recommend you to watch my last video. I explain everything why I haven't been in YouTube and some of the goals and some of the things that I want to achieve on 2020. Happy New Year's, by the way. Let's go ahead and start with this video. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wet the top. I'm going to cut the top first. I'm going to set up my shape on top first, and then we're going to cut the sides. This client's hair is extremely difficult to cut, on the sense that it's difficult to fade the way that most people would like to fade it, and also maintain the shape and maintain certain areas so they're longer, so that the hair doesn't spike up, but at the same time maintaining the shape that the client wants. So it's a tricky haircut. So that's why we're gonna cut the top first, so we know exactly what the hair wants to do, and then it's gonna make it easier to connect everything else. So I'm gonna show you guys here. The hair is super coarse, super straight. How you can see that cowlick on the back, the way it's just shaped, it's just nightmare. So first thing I want to do, I want to see how much is the hair is going to spike up, right? So I'm taking a 45-degree angle section, and I'm just cutting it just to see like what the hair wants to do, so that I have an idea of how much the hair is going to spike up. So in this case, I kind of already know a little bit, because if you guys remember, I did a video with this client before. It was the first time in cutting him, and he had come from another barber, and it was difficult. It was very difficult to cut. So I told him to let it grow, and then once it was long enough, we were going to redo the haircut my way and see if the result was different, right? So the video's here on the channel. You guys want to see it. So that was like part one. This is going to be part two. So now that we cut the whole perimeter, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the top, right? So the client had it really long, so we are cutting a good amount, how you can see, and then we over direct in the front a little bit. We're trying to maintain that length. So with this type of hair, if you cut it too short, it's going to spike up, right? The client doesn't want it to spike up. The client wants it to lay down and kind of style to the side. So we have to keep that in mind. So with this type of clients, you have to let them know that if they cut it too short, it's not going to do what they want it to do, in case that they wanted to put it to the side and kind of brush it to the side. So now what I'm doing, I'm taking very vertical sections, and then that's the way I'm gonna cut it first, right? And then from there, I'm gonna just cross check and make sure that it's all even. The section where the part should be, right, when we create that part, that section is gonna be a little bit longer, because we want that section to help push the hair to the side. So, you know, just always keep that in mind. It's not necessarily going to be fully square, in the sense that we're going to leave one side a little bit longer. So just keep that in mind when you're creating your shape. Remember that different haircuts require different shapes, right? And the most important thing that dictates that shape is the head, the client's head, right? The head shape dictates that shape that you're trying to create, right? Most cases we are going to create a square shape, yes, but sometimes like the client, because of the shape of the head and the haircut they want, you might have to create an asymmetrical haircut just to be able for them to style it the way they want it. So that's pretty much what we're doing with the top. It's not going to be fully symmetrical. It's going to be asymmetrical, because that one section that I'm cutting right now is going to be longer than the rest. And just keep that in mind when you're cutting this type of hair and you want it to do certain things. Some sections might need to be a little bit longer, just so you can actually use the hair to help you style to the side, right? So you can see I'm taking horizontal sections now to kind of make sure that everything is even. And I have to remind myself sometimes to not take big sections, because that's what happens, that I'm not I wouldn't be cutting anything. So you can see in this side I'm rounding that corner a little bit, so I'm cutting 90 degrees from the head, which is going to round that corner a little bit. And the reason for it is because the hair has very thick hair, so if I leave that square corner there, it's going to look extra bulky, and it's just going to be a nightmare for the client to cut. So I just rounded it a little bit. That's really much what I did. Here I'm just bringing the top to the sides and kind of matching to a perimeter, and then just connecting it that way. So like that, it's like a more square connection, yes, but remember the step before we rounded it a little bit, so it's gonna have like it's gonna be kind of like those squares that have like round corners. That's kind of what we're trying to create there. And obviously on the back, we're matching everything on the back to a perimeter that we cut, so it doesn't spike up. Then we're gonna brush the hair to the front, and then we're gonna create kind of like a squared line. That means that we're gonna pull everything kind of more towards the middle, so the corners are a little bit longer. This is important. So first, the hair doesn't spike up. Second, in case that you have clients that have a high recession, the squareness of the haircut will like cover that, because there's extra weight on the side. This is Steph walking around, and she loves the attention. So so anyways, we're gonna dry the hair so we can start with the clipper work. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna start with a number 4. The number 4 most likely is gonna connect to that perimeter that we cut. So that's the way I would like to start. You want to start with a little bit higher of a guard, that's fine. Or I know many people start with a 3 or 2, so it's up to you. I usually start with a 3, but in this case, because the hair is longer, I want it to be safe, so I started with a number 4. And I'm always making sure that square shape that I'm trying to create, it's there. I don't want to go past the guide that I created with my scissors, because then at that point I'm not doing anything, right? So now we're gonna create our first guide, and that's gonna be with the machine with a lever close. Lately I've been using the same clipper that to kind of just create my skin line, right? I think that sometimes like I will use like a trimmer or something like that, and then I have problems removing that line. But I feel like if I create this guide, in this case the 0 guide, with the clipper with lever close, I'm gonna use the same clipper to remove that guide, so it makes it a lot easier in my opinion. But lately I've been doing this. Sometimes I do use like a detachable with a number 3 zeros or 5 zeros to kind of create that line, but honestly this way it's been working fine for me, and it actually makes it very easy to remove that line. So that's just a little tip that I have for you guys. Now we're gonna go ahead and use electric shaver. With electric shaver, you want to make sure that you leave a little space between your guide, the 0 guide that you created, and the shaver. Just in case that you create a line, you can actually just use the same shaver to remove that line by kind of using like a C motion on the shaver and removing whatever line you see. Here we opening the lever under our clipper. This is the Endless Masters, the cordless one. It's awesome. This machine is awesome. I'm actually working on a review for you guys because I know many of you want to see it. So we created that guide, and now we're gonna go ahead and start down fading. So you guys know me, I love to down fade, so that's just the way I fade. Doesn't mean it's the best technique, it's just a technique that I like to use. So we're gonna go ahead and start down fading with number 3, and then lever open, and then you close it, and then every time we change guards, it's gonna be the same thing. We open and then close, we open and then we close. That's just the way I like to fade. So here we're gonna go ahead and start using a number 2, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the rest. We open, and then once it stops cutting, then you close it. You don't have to close it all the way. If you feel like you need to close it just halfway and then close it all the way, that's fine. It's up to you. That's just the way I do it. So we are back to the bottom. Again, we're just gonna remove the skin line. How you can see with this type of hair is tricky, right? Because we're trying to create more like a mid fade, but at the same time we need to maintain so much length on the side so the hair doesn't spike up, that it's gonna end up being more like kind of like a compressed fade. You know, like those fades are very, very tight. Not necessarily the type of fade that I like to do, but sometimes you gotta adjust to whatever works best on the client. So in this case, like one side is gonna be, how to say, this is not asymmetrical haircut, it's gonna be an asymmetrical haircut, right? It just has to be because of what the client wants and because of what the type of hair that we're working with. So this side is gonna be a little bit tighter, it's gonna be a little bit more compressed, and then on the other side we're actually going to create a little bit more, we're gonna spread out that fade and it's gonna be a little bit more open. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes you have to readjust to whatever works best for the client. This is why some clients come to me, for example. They're looking for that one haircut that really like matches their head shape and it really goes with what they're trying to do, right? Any guy can do a fade, any barber can do a fade, any barber can do certain haircuts, right? But how many barbers can actually tailor a haircut to that client, you know, to the client's head, to the client's hair, to what the client wants, you know? I think that's what creates a better barber, and that's exactly what kind of like the expertise that you have, and that's what clients pay extra money for. They pay extra money for that knowledge that you can give them that maybe other barbers can. So just keep that in mind. That's why education is key, because you know it provides you with the tools that you need to like be on top of the game and be better than others. You know, that's the way I kind of see it. So right here, what we're doing after we did the shape up and hot towel, razor, all that, then what we're going to do is we're going to texture the top. This hair is thick, this hair is dense, so we have to make sure that we make it a little bit lighter. So what I'm doing right now is using like a deep point cutting technique to kind of create a lot of separation and remove a lot of the weight, so it makes it easier for the client to style, especially towards the crown, the front a little bit too, so it's not too heavy. Obviously we don't want to remove that much weight, because if we remove too much weight, then it's going to spike up because the hair's straight. But you know what I mean, like just enough so the client can style his hair easily. We're using the razor on the back of the neck. I always say don't leave hairs on the neck. I don't know why some barbers do amazing work, but they leave the neck full of hair, so I don't get it. So now that I'm blow drying the hair, you can see the shape of it. You can start seeing how the shape is of the haircut, and that's the most important thing with this haircut. The most important thing with the haircut is the shape. So if the shape is right, everything else will look nice, because the client's gonna be able to style the hair the way they want it, and the hair is not gonna spike up or anything like that. That's what we're trying to avoid. That is the most important thing, that you can see that the client has a lot of indents and you can see the bones and all that. And I didn't light up a lot of those areas, because if now will destroy some of the shape, because you are making a hole to light up those areas. So just keep that in mind. So that was the haircut, guys. That was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to share with other people, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.